Out of theater reaction. We just got back, we watched it, and I'm just gonna rant a little bit and talk about it. Not really a rant because I did love it, so I'm just gonna, I guess, just love the film. I guess you could say. So I will do a full review on it, a more thoughtful review where my thoughts on are scattered like this video, but this sometimes is just a good way to express yourself. So I will tell you that this is a movie that I've been waiting for and anticipating for some time. If you've been on my channel for some time, you've seen I've made countless videos about the movie. I've been talking about it ever since like it got announced when Robert Eggers was coming on board to do the film. And that was even back then when it was um, almost blanked out right there, but it was Harry Styles and also Anya Taylor-Joy in it. I think Bill Skarsgård was attached to it, but I don't think he was playing Count Orlok just yet. And I've been excited ever since, and I've been talking about it since also CinemaCon this year when they showed a first teaser and all of that, and I've been excited to just see everything that's been coming out of it, all of the interviews with Robert Eggers and stuff like that. And I finally got the chance to watch it today, which was an interesting day on Friday the 13th for sure. And this was a screening that didn't have that many people in it, mostly was press and all of that. And it was just magnificent. That's all I'll say to start off with. I will tell you that there is a clip circulating of Bill Skarsgård's Count Orlok, his voice and everything. Try to not watch that. It's always great to see it the first time on the big screen, and this, without a doubt, was such a shocking moment to hear his voice and see how different he has become in it. And it's a lot more different the look than I expected it to be too as well. In my head, I was imagining something, especially considering how the shadow and everything looks in the trailer and the poster and all of that. So I was thinking it was gonna be something else, but they really did something completely different and unique with it. I think there's a unique facial thing to his character that I didn't expect, and I will talk more about that in spoilers once the movie does release. So stay tuned for that. But the voice in itself as well is very ominous. It is booming, and that's the best words I can describe it with. There's a interview where he talked about the voice, and I think I talked about this in a video I did where I was talking about the whole look and everything would be disguised and all, but he almost likened his voice to a tiger of sorts, and I think that that's something you can really think about when you're trying to imagine that voice. But I trust me, it's best to see it and hear it on the big screen for the first time. Lily Rose Depp here is truly what makes the movie. Like, you need this person that she is playing to really go insane, and she does that so efficiently throughout, and it really escalates and it elevates to a level that you just cannot ignore. And it really was just an intense performance that she had. I was really blown away by her throughout this whole movie, because every single instance that you think she won't be able to top the next level of sort of a manic episode she's having and borderline insanity, she's able to do it even better in the next. A character that I didn't even consider or have heard much people talk about here is Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, which is just a tremendous performance from him here as well. And it's really hard to talk about it without getting spoilers. I won't give you no spoilers, by the way, don't worry. But there is several scenes throughout actually in this movie that are so memorable just because of Aaron Taylor Johnson's performance throughout. He plays this character so well, and his descent into what comes due to Count Orlok is just so incredible to see, and truly some of the most, like, I would say, poignant scenes throughout this movie, honestly. Nicholas Hoult here is great as well. Willem Dafoe is truly one of the scene stealers here when he makes his presence like known throughout the film. And once he's in the movie, he really cements himself, which is great. That's something Willem Dafoe always does well, I think. He really does establish himself into the role well. And here he plays this character that is so interesting as well. And he has so much knowledge about everything going on, and you are just listening and tuning in. The horror aspects of here are great as well. I don't know if they were like some of the scariest of the year, but they definitely are some of the ones that linger the most in you, because I think that it's very difficult when to do a horror movie, right? Because you want to have those scares, but you don't want them to be pop-up scares, which Nosferatu doesn't really have pop-up scares like that. And there's my light, but I'll try to keep on here for a little bit longer actually, because I do want to talk a little bit more about it, so bear with me, y'all. But there is several scenes throughout here in Nosferatu that are built so well, and the initial encounter with Count Orlok, like the first time he's ever on the screen and he's with another character, are terrifying. It's just the tension building of it and just the presence that Bill Skarsgård has created for Count Orlok that make it such a terrifying experience. Like, I was just thinking, like, I would definitely be so scared of Count Orlok, honestly, if I was like right next to him, like this character is. And I think that all just goes very well with the way Robert Eggers uses the shadows and all of that. Hey there, I'm doing good. Just talking about Nosferatu. How are you as well? And it's something about the way that Robert Eggers uses a shadow in this movie and just really has like this character hidden throughout. And when he creeps up on the characters and all of that, it is just terrifying. It is suspenseful for sure. I was almost thinking to myself, like, this is definitely the way you want to build like your monster. You want to keep him hidden. You want to show little bits here and there, and you really want to just build him up until the very end, which he does here in this movie, which is great to see throughout. And I think that this definitely is a movie where everybody is doing amazing. Even Emma Corrin, who is in this movie and doesn't, I would say, have as much of a big role compared to the other ones. And yeah, that's definitely something that I really did enjoy about her performance, that she was able to pull through with that. Yeah. So jump scares. Yeah, I was just talking about that. That there isn't. There is some jump scares throughout. There is some, especially towards the second half of the film. I would say there's about four really big jump scares that definitely did catch me as well off guard, and that's just the way they build it because there's a lot of shadows and stuff going on, so you're not entirely sure what you're watching. And then as soon as more light gets on it, that's when the jump scare happens for sure. But I think it's more about like how gruesome some of the things look, or really spooky as well. Some of these designs that these characters have, and that lingers on them a bit. So it does definitely give you a little bit of goosebumps seeing it as well. So yeah, it wasn't as many jump scares. If y'all have seen Smile 2, Smile 2 I think had the most jump scares this year for sure. That definitely was the movie that had me jumping a lot, and I think that definitely is the most jump scares all year for sure is from Smile 2. But Nosferatu really is more of a movie that I think has some very scary imagery for sure. So the way that Count Orlok looks as well. Some of the scenes with some of the characters when they're like losing their minds and things like that, and they're like contorting and doing all of these weird things with their body. That definitely is something that I think adds to the factor of like, oh, I don't know what's about to happen. But in terms of jump scares, I would say there's about 4 or 5 really big jump scares for sure. But Smile 2 had a lot more for sure. So yeah, Lily Rose Depp was great in it. Also Nicholas Hoult as Thomas, and then you have Aaron Taylor Johnson, who I think isn't getting enough praise because his performance in this was amazing. His character goes through so many emotions in so little time, and it's just great to see him like really going through it all. And it's crazy. He has Craven the Hunter out right now, which I haven't seen, but a lot of people aren't telling me it's not that great. But I definitely am interested in seeing exactly what that movie is and how it feels. Craven the Hunter, but. No, this movie definitely. I don't know where I would put it in terms of Robert Eggers' movie. Was one that I don't know where I would put it. I do want to go back and watch The Witch because I haven't watched it in a while, but I do definitely love this movie a lot right now. Oh yeah, yes. Oh yeah, Quiet Place Day One. That definitely did have a lot of jump scares, especially because it's really quiet. Actually, maybe A Quiet Place Day One did have a bit more jump scares for sure than Small Two. But yeah, Robert Eggers with Nosferatu really delivered. I think he really exceeded my expectations. I wasn't sure what Bill Skarsgård would look as Count Orlok, and what I imagined in my head, what I thought it was going to look like, was definitely not at all what it looked like once I saw it on the big screen. It was a completely different look, but I still really love what Robert Eggers did with this look because it feels so different from what we've seen in vampires in the last couple of years, but it still feels very classic at the same time. Like he puts his own spin and everything into it. And then I think Bill Skarsgård's demeanor and the way he moves around and the way he talks and just the way he does this menacing stare as well at the characters was just something that I think really elevated this performance even more and made it that much more terrifying. Like that first encounter he has with one character, like the first time he ever is on the screen, he is terrifying, and I really do think that it's going to be a scene that a lot of people are going to really talk about and just be like, "Yep, that's it." And I'm so fascinated with Bill Skarsgård, how he continues to sort of be in the horror talks and stuff like that, playing all of these different characters. Like the last time we had seen him in Barbarian, which was a movie where he played like a different character than what we had seen before, which was Pennywise, and he's always able to really change it up and keep it fresh for sure. Definitely one of my favorite actors after this for sure, because this is just an incredible performance from him. And I'm excited to see what Robert Eggers does next, and all of these actors. Lily Rose Depp, of course, is going to be front and center when this movie's talked about, because she does have some of the most like out there scenes and really front and center, showcasing just how this like dark force of a vampire can cause you to almost go into psychosis breakdown, and it is just truly wonderful. Everything else about this movie as well, I think, was great. The way that they shaped the town, the cinematography here as well. It is a very dark movie, but you can still see everything that's happening, which is great. Everything's still lit up enough for it, and it is just in the shadows a lot. So a lot of times you see like a lot of darkness, and until the light comes on, it is revealed what's in there, and that's part of the scares as well. Oh, I forgot Bill Skarsgård was in The Crow. That's how much I forgot that movie for sure. And that's kind of crazy to have The Crow. A lot of these actors actually had two movies this year when you think about it, because Emma Corrin was in Deadpool and Wolverine, and then Aaron Taylor Johnson was just also in Craven the Hunter, which is out this weekend, which I haven't seen. So it is kind of funny to think about that. And then I forgot the doctor's name in this movie, but he was in the first Omen, which I got to think about it. Which one's my favorite horror movie of the year? The first Omen was really great as well. But yeah, a lot of these actors had two movies out this year, which is crazy. But yeah, definitely Nosferatu is that movie. It is great. Try to keep yourself out of seeing spoilers online and all of that, because I think this one's definitely one you want to experience on the big screen for the first time. And yeah, I'm excited to talk more spoilers and things like that once more people watch it, which will probably be next week. But I do have a ton of videos I'm planning to do this weekend. I want to catch up. This week I wasn't able to do as many due to some other things that I was doing. So I do want to talk about some other things that have come out, like some of these trailers. Like I did a 28 years later breakdown. I do have a theory video coming out for that tomorrow about the trailer, and then Yellow Jackets and Severance trailer, and there's a ton of other things, news that has dropped as well for upcoming movies. So I will be doing all of those videos over the weekend, trying to get out as many as I can and catch up before the new week starts and starting off fresh. Stay tuned for that, but just wanted to come on here, talk about Nosferatu. Just got back from it actually, and just let you know my thoughts. If you're watching this after, really appreciate you. If you're watching it live as well, really appreciate everybody here. But I will have more videos out tomorrow talking about a lot of the trailers that got released this week, so stay tuned for that. But hope everybody has a good night and a good weekend, and thank you for tuning in.